Hey YouTube, this is Old School from What the Buck coming to you live from Valrico, Florida. Tonight was the evening practice on the first day of camp for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2009. We got the whole family out there tonight, and a lot of families came out. It looked like about 6,000 people to me, but I'm no expert. They opened up the stadium, had concessions going, had a very game-like atmosphere. They had Scott Smith from Buccaneers.com doing interviews during the game with coaches. They had a really neat transition session where they would go on the Jumbotron, and the position coach would describe what that particular practice set was about, whether it was on run fits or 7-on-7, or what a 7-on-7 is, why they do it, what they're looking for. Really kind of educational. I think if they actually compiled that footage and then put it with some actual stock footage from the practice, it would be very informational for fans. I don't know if they're going to do that, but it would be very cool, and it was a cool experience if you're able to take it in. The practice started out with special team stuff, kick coverage, nothing overly exciting, QB center exchanges, all the basic stuff. I mean, these are things that they've got to do. The quarterbacks warmed up. Coach Bates and Coach Jagodzinski were both first up. Both of them were quite funny in the introductions in the Jumbotron. There's clearly a lot of healthy competition going between the two of them. I'm just kind of got to go through my notes here, let you guys know what I saw in the particular exchange. A couple of overarching concepts. Antonio Bryant looks very solid. He made a couple of really spectacular catches and a couple of one-handers, and far and away is the number one receiver. Mike Clayton had a big catch that I'll describe a little bit later. He had a couple of catches during the session. Didn't have any drops that I saw tonight, but, I mean, you don't see everything with every play. But I think that Antonio Bryant is far and away the best receiver that's on the field. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone. Kellen Winslow came back and had a nice practice this evening as well. A couple of other guys that showed up pretty big. Dexter Jackson showed up pretty big again, though if you bump him on the line, he has a huge issue seemingly getting off the line. We're going to watch that for the rest of the practices. But if you give him a little space, he can create problems, and he's doing a great job getting out into his route if you give him that first 5 yards or so. Campbell looked good, and Brian Clark looked good. No surprises on either one of those. They've been people that we've talked about before. With regards to other people with ball skills, Savvy Piscatelli in the DB interception drills where they're going into a back pedal and catching a ball over their shoulder, I don't know that he dropped a ball all night. He looked very solid in that particular regard. Just got to wonder if he can stay healthy. They went into the nickel blitz package install. Byron Leftwich still looks incredibly slow. He looks like he's moving in molasses. He does have a play later on that I'll tell you about that was pretty spectacular. But in general, it is painful how slow he is. He must think he's going to have 15 seconds in the pocket to throw. We saw Stovall hit the locker room. We thought, oh, God, here it is, the Stovall injury that happens every year. But he came back out. He probably just needed fluids. They went into their run fit session. Quincy Black had a couple of really nice plays, keeping contained, driving the play back in. Also of note, Kyle Moore, if you recall, I mentioned earlier this morning, he did not maintain his discipline on the backside on one of the plays. Ernest Graham bounced it back to the outside and had a big gain. Same play this evening. Kyle Moore stayed home, stopped the play. It was nice to see him learn literally from one practice to the next. Every one of the backs looked good. Now, this is, of course, second practice, light contact, right? You can't really tell what the hell you got. But every one of the backs, from Derek Ward to Ernest Graham to Clifton Smith to Cadillac Williams, they all looked fast. They looked decisive. The line was out there moving. Everything looked very, very good on the running side of the ball. Aqib Talib made a couple of really spectacular plays. The kid's got really good speed, good closing speed, and good hands. He was stride for stride with Antonio Bryant on one play. Luke actually underthrew the ball a little bit, or it would have been a touchdown, I believe. That seemed to be the pattern tonight, not just with Luke, with all the quarterbacks. They were underthrowing the ball just a little bit, and it was causing some problems. But the receivers were, by and large, coming up pretty strong. In 7-on-7 drills, Josh Freeman did not have a good session this evening. In 7-on-7s, he was okay pretty much the rest of the session, but in 7-on-7s he didn't do very good. He had a couple of just flat bad passes, some into multiple triple coverage at one point. But Luke continued to sort of differentiate himself. He had some very quick reads, was pretty accurate with football, and here Antonio Bryant had another one-handed touchdown in the 7-on-7 drills. The guy looks phenomenal. They're putting Josh Johnson in the gun a lot. Like I mentioned this morning, his fundamentals look solid. I tried to look for the Ducks that they were talking about today. The kid looks like he's throwing a good football to me. I'm going to be paying a lot more attention to him the rest of the week because as bad as Leftwich looks, I just don't know how this guy makes the team. And like I said, he did have one play that I'll tell you about a little bit later where he made a hell of a throw, but other than that, I just haven't seen anything. 87 showed his wheels a couple of times, running by people. Rondé had a good practice this evening. Rondé was step for step with a number of receivers, not not just guys like Stovall, but he step for step with Dexter Jackson on a fly route, which was pretty surprising because Dexter's got some pretty good wheels and did make a number of good catches tonight. Josh Bidwell showed up and hit a 70-yard punt in the air, as well as a couple of 55 and 60-yard punts during the punt coverage section. During the special cat section, they were doing the nickel blitz install. Joe Barry came on and explained that, we've got a really strong nickel blitzing cornerback in Rondé Barber. And he actually dropped the word ass on the Jumbotron about getting after their ass. It was very funny. I'm going to try and get the clip for you. But in that session, there's a lot of energy. And this is where Dexter actually had a problem getting away from the bumps on the line. Albert Mack had a terrific interception on an underthrow by Byron Leftwich in that session, which is exactly what the nickel blitz is supposed to generate, right? Rushed pass, underthrown, Emack makes the pick, big play. Kellen Winslow had back-to-back tremendous catches, one from Luke and one from Josh Freeman. And then Luke went ahead and hit Brian Clark on another heck of a pass. All three of those are really solid blitz pickups. Right? They picked up the blitz, they made the right read, they delivered the ball on time, and it was pretty solid. And then Leftwich hit Dexter Jackson for a touchdown as well. So I guess he had two strong plays there in the men. It just wasn't Freeman's practice this evening. Hopefully he'll get the rust off tomorrow. Gene Decroft made an appearance, which was nice. The cheerleaders made some appearances. We'll throw some of those videos up when I get them off the camera. So Leftwich was sacked after staying in the pocket for what I have down here is 10 seconds. Then it wasn't really a sack because there's no contact on the quarterback. So he steps up, delivers the ball even after he would have been sacked, tipped. It's picked off by Tenard Jackson. Tenard Jackson's running it back. Luke McCown, who's not even in the play, runs over and essentially tackles Tenard Jackson. They were having a hell of a time out there, and a good time. It was good to see the players, working hard, but clearly enjoying themselves too. Not saying they didn't enjoy themselves last year, but there is a different air, seemingly, with what's going on now. Hopefully it'll translate into something on the field that's, positive. The play I wanted to call out, though, Byron Leftwich rolls right after a play action, rolls forever. No one gets to him. All of a sudden he looks downfield. Maurice Stovall's, 70 yards down the field, 60 yards down the field, and bombs the ball down to Maurice, who's behind everybody, for a touchdown. It was a great play. Everyone was very excited. The very next play, Leftwich was sacked. So it was a good evening. We're going to be back at camp tomorrow for the 2 o'clock session, get some more videos, some more pictures, hopefully focus a little bit more on some different positions, get some sled information, some line information, D-line, offensive line, fullbacks, that sort of stuff. Probably be big fella time tomorrow. Hopefully you guys are enjoying these videos. I tried to put up a compilation video tonight, but it was past 10 minutes, and so YouTube chopped it off. So I'm going to try and do another cut of it either tonight or tomorrow morning. If you don't mind hitting the rates, and let me know what you think, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again.